prepared for this one, but I've just been asked a question by a friend, so it was on my mind, so I just thought I'd have a bit of a chat because it was an important one. So this one's more for guys. Obviously, if you're a woman, feel free to listen, but you might learn a bit of something about a guy's mentality when it comes to dating apps, because the female perspective and the male perspective when it comes to dating apps are completely different. And why is that? Well, first is because it's always been the man's job to make the first move, right? And so anyway, right, for me, like I don't really use dating apps, right? I've not used them for that fucking long now. It's I think they're a big waste of time. But anyway, when it comes to dating apps, here's my own personal experience, right? So somebody asked me about openers, like what to do, like, and this person was like sort of studying the profile and looking at pictures and coming up with like 3 things to say about the profile. And my first thoughts on that were, that must take ages if you're studying a profile and doing that. If you think about the reality of dating apps from a guy's perspective, I think it's like fishing, right? Here's what you should do. Just come up with one canned opener, right? Come up with an opener, right? That works, and just cast it out like bait, right? To everyone, just like that. Copy paste, boom, 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 and then see who bites, right? Because as a guy, you haven't really got time to start. If you spend time analysing profiles and trying to pick out, you just haven't got time to hit the numbers, because dating apps is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. If you think about sales, right, like a sales funnel, at the very, very top of the sales funnel, this is like your vast, or you're in, top of the funnel is just a vast amount of people, like an audience that you're trying to reach, and you're qualifying it as it goes down. And in order to hit the numbers, you need significant coming in the top of the funnel. It's same with dating apps. So if you're going to start analysing 1 or 2 profiles, the chances of you getting a bite. And the reason is because, if you think about it from a woman's perspective on the dating app, what do they have to do? Stick a picture up, sit back and wait. And the inbox is just flooded with matches. And so they've no real work to do. The reality from a woman's perspective and a guy's perspective is completely different, right? So the women just sit there, wait for hundreds of matches, especially if they're attractive. All they have to do is put a nice looking photo up. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, all you have to do, the old bird's eye view shot. Can go up there and they'll get enough matches. Even an average looking girl will get a lot of matches, because wonders that you can do with makeup. So they don't really have to do anything. So you've got to think, right, if you're a guy, if you're trying to pick yourself out and find that one little crafty little message, you're not going to get anywhere, because chances are you're getting fucking hundreds of them, right? Absolutely hundreds a day. So how do you do it? Like I said, find one canned opener that you like and just cast it out like bait and see who bites. It's literally like fishing. It's no more different than that. Right, so when this guy was like, I'm going to start picking out bits and pieces, I was like, I wouldn't do that. And here's the thing, right? If you're thinking, well, I don't get that many matches on dating apps. Well, if you're not the sort of guy that gets lots of matches on dating apps, then I would say don't even bother with dating apps, right? Because unless you're getting significant matches, all of those leads are low quality. They're all low quality leads until it goes somewhere. It takes a bit of time to sort of filter them through the funnel, just like sales. You get people visiting your website, the number of people that make inquiries through a contact form. Even them, how many do you convert to a sale? Very few. Same on a dating app. So if you're not getting sufficient matches, then I wouldn't even bother with dating apps altogether. I'll go and learn cold approach or something like that. It's going to be far more effective for you. So, and it just reminds me, it's like fishing, chuck the same bait out, copy paste. if it's working well for you on a dating app, and obviously, like, you know, this is not, I've got friends that actually can help you teach this, you know, like creating a profile, getting the right photos. But there's a whole thing on that, you know, you got to have a good profile, good photos, all the rest of it, good lifestyle. But if you're not getting sufficient matches, you should. I did a, oh, hang on. Yeah, I did a video in the summer. I think it was something like treat your dating life like an experiment and stop taking it too seriously. Because the problem with it is, if you're only getting a few and you're trying to get that one girl off them 1 or 2 matches that you're getting, chances are you'll get nothing. So you should go and do something else instead. Go and learn cold approach, whatever. You'll be far, far more effective. And then build yourself up, you know, get yourself some a nice lifestyle, and nice photos, and then go back on dating. Maybe you'll get some success. But if you are getting significant numbers, have you really got time to go through and analyze everyone? No. It's like fishing, cast the same bait out, see who bites, and then go from there. And that's how you should do it. Reminds me, like I say, I've not been on dating apps for years, but I remember doing it a few years ago, and I'd sent this canned opener, you know, good opener. It was getting some good results. So I'd send this can opener to this girl, and I think, I can't remember, I might have went out on a date with her, and then and then the next day she sent me a message saying I'd sent the same opener to a friend. And I was like, what are the fucking chances of that? Well, it's quite high actually if you're in local neighbourhood. And it turned her off, and I was like, yeah, fair enough. I got into a bit of a bit of a chat with her about it. And I was just, you know, you shouldn't over rationalize this stuff. So I just sort of like, well, what do you think it is? You know, for a guy, it is just like fishing. And we had a bit of a laugh about it, like, and I was like, you know, think about it from the woman's perspective. They don't see any of this. They don't see that guys literally have to do copy paste, because it is like fishing. And the idea being, this sounds really, really bad now, but almost like really Machiavellian. But if your opener is that good that it does attract the girl, it actually makes, when they respond to you, it actually makes them feel special. When really what they don't know is it's not special at all. It's a copy paste canned opener. And that's when you know that your opener is very good. But then at that point, obviously, if you built a connection, then she is special, and you can take it further. But just to explain the reality between the two, you know, let her think that it's, you know, she's special, and that's great, because at that point, once you've built that connection, it can become something special, and that's how it all starts. But if you're thinking that you're going to analyze some profile and come up with some crafty message that's very, very specific to that one girl, you've just got to think of the, you know, the dynamics of the, you know, the lead generation thing again. You know, she's right at the top of the funnel. The chances of you getting right down at the bottom with her on one specific message, I think, is you might be wasting your time. Think about it. Dating apps, the whole purpose of a dating app is to waste your time and money. That's what they're geared up to do. That's why I don't like them. That's why I think they're absolute shit. And I think the best way to meet someone is just out in person. Just in the real world, the old-fashioned way is far better. But yeah, interested to know what you think. If ever tried that. But yeah, if you're a guy, dating apps, don't bother with very specific openers. You've got to come up with something a bit more canned. Even if, right, your canned rehearsed opener is just the same line, that maybe you swap the name and maybe something in there, you know, but it's largely a standard opener. You've got to cut and paste it in and go for it, and that's what you do. Even if you are going to try and, you know, because sometimes with the cut and paste openers, it can look a bit gamey, you know, look a bit obvious, and I've heard some people talk about that, you know, try and change 1 or 2 things in there, fine, but it's still a canned opener, isn't it? You're not sort of studying a profile and trying to come up with something. Interested to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Just a quick live, and yeah, yeah, like I say, I won't even I don't really like dating apps. I wouldn't really bother with them. I think you should learn real life interactions. Much more powerful. Obviously, real life interactions, size of the funnel is very small, but the qualification is a lot tighter because you're in person. A bit like sales, it's like the cost of a sale, isn't it? You're investing a bit more of your own time, so you're going to have fewer, but because you're there in person, you know if there's chemistry. You're not wasting your time on messages backwards and forwards. Maybe it's me. Maybe I don't like small talk and I just can't be arsed with all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway, gonna shoot. See you all next time.